Hi, today we are looking at an outline, the parts of an outline, and how to format a good outline. Okay, first of all, you will notice that you have your MLA heading, which is here. It should have your name, not Danielle Augustine, your actual name, then my name here, the class name, whichever class you're in. She was in Senior Language Arts 1. And to do Roman numerals, you just use the capital I or the capital V or whatever you need. So it would be Roman numeral 1. Whatever the outline is, for this one it was the medieval outline. So yours could be Anglo-Saxon, 17th century, whatever it is. And then the MLA format for the date. For this one it was 2 February 2009. Today would be 20 January 2014. And then you center the title of your outline. Here is how you center. Now notice the whole thing is double spaced. No extra spaces between the date and the title and the beginning of the outline. Okay, the first part of your outline is Roman numeral 1, which will be the introduction. So you will type Roman numeral 1 and introduction. Then for an outline, all I require is your thesis statement, which is here. You will notice that in her thesis statement she has several thesis points, which hers are human flaws are a part of life, that's the first one. Acting without thinking causes problems, that's her second one. And honesty and truth are very important. Now she has to write six paragraphs. Intro, forebody, and a conclusion. So she's going to have to write 2 paragraphs on her first thesis point, which is human flaws are a part of life. So you always put the thesis point you have the most to say about as your first thesis point if you have to write more paragraphs on one of the thesis points. Always go from most information to least information. Okay, now that she's finished with that, we go on to Roman numeral 2, which is the body. Under the body, this is where you have all your topic sentences. For a 6-paragraph essay, you're going to have an A, B, C, and D. A will be her first thesis point, which are flaws are part of life, human flaws are part of life. And then we have her topic sentence, which begins with a transition. Remember, all of your topic sentences should begin with transitions. First of all, Sir Gawain learns that human fallibilities are acceptable and even forgivable. That is the same idea as this. And then she chooses 2 quotes that go with that idea, and you list them and label them. Quote number 1. Notice how she introduces her quote. Gawain says. She uses present tense because we always write about literature in the present tense. So instead of Gawain said, Gawain says. Then she gives the quote. Notice the slash here. The slash is how we divide lines of a poem. So if you'll notice, the lines are always numbered, and at the end of each line you'll add a slash to show the division between the lines. You only do this in the middle part of the quote. Notice there's no slash here at the end. And then at the end you have lines and whatever the line numbers are. Notice there's no punctuation here, just the period here. A lot of you mess that up, so look carefully at that. So you want to do 2 quotes. So again, introduce the quote here using present tense. Tells is present tense. Then give the quote, use your slashes between the lines, and then cite the line numbers at the end with the period at the very end of it. The only exception to this rule is if I had an exclamation point or a question mark here. Then I would leave it there and I still would add a period there, but we don't in this case, so just a period here. So that is our first thesis point. Now remember, she's got to have 4 body paragraphs, so she's got to have a second one about the same idea. Gawain also sees that hasty decisions may cause trouble. So this is again one of his flaws. So she does the same thing. She introduces it. Now remember, in a poem you have a speaker instead of a narrator. In a short story or a novel you have a narrator, but here you have a speaker. Then give the quote, slashes, punctuation, period here at the end, line numbers, all of that. Okay, then we go on to C, which is our second thesis point. She has a transition here. In addition, Gawain learns the value of honesty and the repercussions of dishonesty. That's her second thesis point. She does the same thing. She labels the quotes. Quote 1, she introduces the quote here. She uses a slash if she needs one. Here she only had one line. I want each of your quotes to be at least 2 lines. So you practice using the slash. But then you cite it here. Same thing here. Then we go on to our last thesis point here, D. Another transition. Now this transition tells us this is our last idea in the paragraph and our last thesis point. And we find our 2 quotes, we introduce them, we use our slashes here, and then we cite it at the end. And then conclusion. For my outline, all you have to do is restate the thesis in a fresh way for the conclusion. Now, a nice way, once you finish this, everything is already done for you. This is the skeleton of your essay. So the easiest way to write your rough draft is to save this, go to File, Save As, and we're going to save it under a different name. So let's say she's in 3rd period. We'd be 3 Augustine Essay 2 instead of outline. That way, we click Save. You can just delete all the outline format and add in the paragraphs. So you could go through and you could just delete all of this stuff. Go through and delete it all and just turn it into a paragraph, because you already have your quotes typed, you already have your lines cited. Everything is done for you except for the discussion. All you have to do is go in and add the material for your introduction up here. You can erase all of that and just add your introductory material, and you've already got the thesis at the end. Now I do want your thesis to be underlined, so always underline topic sentences and thesis statements. You can do this in your outline too, so you don't even have to redo that when you're doing the rough draft. All your quotes should be in bold in your essay. They're already in bold here in the outline, so you don't even have to change that, but you just flesh it out. If the outline is the skeleton of your essay, then the flesh comes from your discussion, and that's what makes your paper into an essay. Now, I do want to go over one other thing, how to do your line number, or how to do your page number. Some of you always forget that. So, in order to insert page numbers, you go up here to Insert. You come over here to Page Number. You want to choose Top of Page, 3rd one down, and then type in the last name and space once, and then close, and it correctly numbers all of your pages. And that's all you have to do. So I hope you all have very good outlines. Thank you.